Would you rather be the best at speaking every language or be the best at playing every instrument? Why? Does either skill require upkeep of any kind? Will these skills diminish if I don't keep them sharp? Ooh, that's tough. Speaking every language would be so amazing because you could communicate with literally anyone. You could talk to anyone on the whole planet, and I bet you could also get a fantastic, well-paid job with that skill. But I don't like people all that much. I'd find it much more personally satisfying to be able to play any instrument. How amazing it would be to be able to express myself with any instrument that exists. You could also be a musician, and that would be way better for me than being an interpreter. So I'd have to go with that. Speak every language. I've always wanted to speak T-Rex. Language. If it's every language, it means I could speak dead languages and translate some of the oldest texts in the world. That would be super cool. As a professional translator with musical aspirations, this is one of the hardest questions for me. Obviously, the languages would make me the most useful person in the office and I'd be set for life, but being able to play every instrument has been a dream of mine since I was a kid, and it would allow me to make all the music I've always wanted to, but didn't know anyone with the right skills and interests. Every language because I would dress like C-3PO and mess with people. Instrument. I'm scared of social interaction. Just being the best at speaking my own language would be fantastic. Best at every language out there? Count me in. Bonus. What about programming languages? Instrument. If you're the best at any instrument, you can monetize that pretty well. The best at every instrument meaning I'm actually the most skilled musician of every instrument in the world. That is infinitely more valuable than whatever the best at every language means. I could hire private tutors and translators with all the cash I'd be rolling in. Edit. All y'all are imagining I'd use music skills to be in a crappy pop or rock band. You have any idea how much you'd be paid to be the premier instrumentalist in the best symphony orchestra in the world and being able to switch to any instrument needed? You pick languages, and there's no way you're not working for a government somewhere dealing with confidential info every day. You can go right ahead and pick that one. Language. Polyglots have always amazed me, and I'm a language nerd, so the choice is easy. Instrument, as music is a universal language anyway, and I also prefer arts over social engagement. Language, so I could immerse myself in a different country and culture whilst on holiday. The best at speaking a language? Aren't those the great orators, poets, and writers? If they do not have mastery of language, I do not know who could call themselves more qualified. To be a master at all languages? To be able to speak to all people? To be the greatest polyglot, polymath, author and speaker? Who would not want such ability? Also, would probably be fun to be a voice actor, because again, best at speaking languages. Speaking every language cause then, if two people are talking about me in a different language, I can humiliate them by telling them I understood every word. Best at languages. I can't play instruments as is, because I have a dislocated right shoulder I can't have relocated back. Language. I could finally figure out what the hell my cat wants. I'd rather be the best at playing every instrument. First off, the music you could create would be unbelievable. Secondly, the feeling of connection you get with others when you see them vibing to your music is unrivaled. It's like the greatest high in the world without any of the negative consequences of drugs, and making people feel good is so rewarding. It's sad that so many people that picked this mentioned how they could monetize it. Of course everyone needs money, but there's so much more to music than money or fame. I would choose this power, even if I never made any money from it. I think language. There's a lot of job opportunities here, and plus I love it when people get excited when you speak their native tongue. Language. The joy of playing instruments is in learning and practicing. The joy of language is in communication. Instrument. I don't even want to talk to anybody in my own language. Language so I could make money interpreting. Edit. I prefer to learn languages. I know how to speak several already, and I can't carry a note on any instrument. I'm sure that you can make a resid ton of money playing music, but it's not something I'm interested in doing. So calm your TTS. Instruments for sure. I live in America and speak English, and I still barely talk to anybody. If I spoke Spanish and lived in Spain, I doubt that would change much lol. Language. Not only because I love to travel, but when you come across someone who doesn't think they are going to be able to communicate in a certain situation, and then all of a sudden someone is able to communicate with them, the light on their eyes will warm your heart for a long time. Instrument because I don't talk to people in the first place. Is mayonnaise an instrument? There are over 7,000 languages in the world, and if you are the best at speaking all of them, you would probably be considered a genius. Not to say you wouldn't be a prodigy being a master of the 1500 plus instruments, but knowledge of language, and by extension culture, is way more impressive in my eyes. Language. Hands down. Instruments can be construed to be practical, but the art of communication is what reigns supreme. Speak every language. I would assume that it makes me think in a different language too. It's just like another world, and connection with others is different if you know a different language. Instruments. Why would I want to talk to people? Instruments. In my job I have found that everybody can understand music to some degree, but not everybody understands spoken language regardless of which language. Language. I find two-way communication more useful than one-way. Language because I have a Spanish exam in 2 days. Language. Be the best at playing every instrument, it get into bands and stuff, and get to play massive shows and make bank. Language. Being able to speak every language would be way more convenient, and you could talk every language, including ones that haven't been spoken in hundreds of years. I find learning instruments is way easier than a new language, so that also adds in a reason for my choice. Imagine waking up one day and you could speak Latin, or order Big Smoke's order in Japanese. That would be awesome, right? Definitely best at playing every instrument. Hell, it even take best at playing any instrument, because music is the universal language and portrays the ineffable. Languages so I can watch foreign TV shows and not need subtitles. Instrument. I regret not learning the piano also. I wouldn't have any use for languages. Who needs language when you can serenade with your epic lute skills? What's there to talk about when you have awesome music to offer instead? Instruments. There's too much talking in the world already, and never enough beautiful melodic music. Besides, Google Translate exists. 100% the best at playing every instrument. Sure, you could travel the world and have conversations with people in their foreign tongue. But, with instruments you literally fuse together your souls. Entirely different experience. Plus, I don't remember the last time a polyglot was considered a language god. If you were the best at every instrument, people from around the world would come to see you. You could own mansions all over the world if you wanted. People don't recognize how insane a power would be to be the best at speaking every language would be. Let me say this, that I'm no musician and I have very little to speak about knowledge of musical instruments, but in my opinion language represents vastness that we do not clearly comprehend. And what about languages of animals? Would that also be included? Holy yes, it now you have a superpower. Who the duck cares? You can play the piano, drums, guitar, flute, or whatever. You would be a superhuman who would be of invaluable service, and even just without the animal languages it would still be a superhuman feat. Languages have so much nuances and depth to them that one can dedicate several lifetimes and still could barely start to understand a handful of them. To be able to speak the tens and thousands of languages across the globe, for me the answer is clear what I'd want, which I'm sure the musicians of Reddit would disagree with, for which I'm willing to hear arguments. But for me the answer is easy. You only need one instrument to speak all languages. Music, because I hate talking to people. Language. By learning the language, you also learn the people. It opens up so many doors for you to have amazing experiences and learn. I'd prefer language because of the ability to be a translator and travel to any country. Plus I'll never have to wonder if the girls at the nail salon are talking bad about me again. Instrument, because I'm an introvert who loves music. The best, just one instrument would be enough. Screw talking with people. Playing with them is way better.